feel this week that I've heard a lot about how life used to be, and statements like, I can't believe I used to do that, or I can't believe I acted that way, or I did those things. Not in a degrading way, but a realization way. There's some judgment in there, but we are kind of working through some of that. The statements that I heard this week around, wow, I can't believe I used to do that. So if we look at this whole situation, right, and as we move out of that behavior, as we start to move away from it, we look back and we go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I used to do that. I can't believe that those are actions I took. Even today, I look at that previous behavior and I go, man, now this is 12 years later. I look back at that and I go, wow. Now I can understand psychologically how I got there, because I understand how addiction works. Chips away at us, and things that aren't normal become more and more normal. We press the boundary line to get the same high that we used to get before. But I still can look back on that and go, man, that was insanity. Some of the things I did, the extent that I went, the measures I went to get my addiction fed, to my own detriment, because it caused a massive amount of stress and overwhelm in my life, as it does your life, as any addiction does. Now, some of y'all have become astutely aware of it because your significant other has pointed out that it's not okay. Some of us have made that choice on our own because we want our lives to be better. We've stepped up in our masculinity, stepped up as men and said, okay, hey, we're going to get this fixed. And that's something that is really admirable, right? Pulling ourselves out of our own. We're changing the channel per se and saying, hey, that's not where we're going to be. That's not what we're going to do. And that decision is not an easy one. It's a challenging choice to make, because the high of acting out has some appeal to it. What does it do? It puts us through a range of emotions. It makes us feel somewhat alive. In the same way, the behavior has, even though it has downs, it has ups, right? So there's an attraction, there's appeal to this, even though it's chaotic, and even though it doesn't serve us, keeps us in a very stalled place. We are a servant to our sexuality, so we're not really steering our own lives at that point, right? Not fully. So we can look at that and go, man, especially when we start to come out of it, even in the early phases. Like I remember the first month in recovery, looking back on some of my behavior, even then, and going, oh my gosh, what were you doing? And feeling this massive sense of relief that was gone, that I was no longer doing that. That was going to be in the past. It was in the past and will continue to be in the past. And there was a huge sense of relief there, but also there was this kind of disbelief that I had gone that far down the rabbit hole, and how I justified and rationalized myself into those positions to get my addiction fed. So here's the great news about all of this, right? And this is what I love. Even if you've not had that moment yet, or it's a smaller moment, as long as you continue to walk forward and put one foot in front of the other, it will become that way. Now, obviously, the initial shock when we get caught or it's exposed or whatever, that can be very heavy, right? When you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was doing these things, right? But we're talking about kind of a different view, and that takes time, where we're in a very confident and solid place, and we look back on that and go, man, I can't believe I did that, but I'm not that man anymore. And this is the man that I am. It's wild that I went down that road. And that is what addiction is. It's a wild, crazy, irrational journey into a very deep pit. But we're not there anymore, and we're coming up out of it. And if you've started your recovery recently, right, you are on that journey yourself. But what I want also for us to be careful of is to not, when we look back at that stuff, not to look at it with shame and guilt. I have remorse about the things I did. It's hard for me to regret it because it's brought me here to where I am. I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing today, helping the men I'm doing today, if I hadn't suffered through that. I do hate the pain that it caused others. And I have so much remorse around those actions. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it.